Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elliott McCants, and I'm sitting here with my daughter, Lolade McCants, who's visiting for part of the summer, and her new uncle, uh, my brother, Mr. Mickey Jordan. And we're here filling in for um, Sister Audrey Muhammad, who's taken a bit of a leave of absence for a little bit, and we wish her well. And we're here to just fill in and see if people want to have some dialogue because that's important for us to talk and have dialogue. And I would invite any questions that you might have if you're watching and paying attention, please do. And if not, then find out where we are and ask questions anyway.
Well, thank you. We got the super producer up in here. We got Janelle Brox from
All
Oaks,
right.
California, and then we got Beverly Barnes up in there.
Okay.
Yeah, these people that's tapping in. I'm over just here sharing this stuff.
No,
So,
beautiful.
what you got ready for us
Okay.
today,
Well,
Dr. Elliott?
see, now then this gave me a whole nother
I
title.
gotta give you another title.
You got that's
Tell me
all
what's
right. I'll
something
take
good.
it. I'll
Tell me
accept
what's
it.
something
I'll
good.
accept it. Well, today I wanted to talk about a couple of different things. Number one is propaganda, and the other one is education. So if we have time, prayerful, we can do both. Um, if not, then we'll do the best we can with what we got. So let me give a proper definition of what propaganda is. Well, thank you very much for the blessings. We appreciate that. And to you all as well. All right. Propaganda is information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. That's what propaganda is. So, a lot of what we're dealing with in our community is propaganda based upon a bias. Now, this may sound a little rough, um, but we have to be honest. Uh, the a lot of the propaganda that we are dealing with started out a very long time ago. One of the most important pieces that was created by a filmmaker was Birth of a Nation, that was done by Cecil B. DeMille in 1915. And most of the characters that were in the film, and you can watch it on YouTube, they showed a whole 3 hour and 15 minute or 3 hour and 12 minute film. You can get it on YouTube. They showed the whole um, film again on YouTube, and they show all the actors that were in the film were white characters in blackface.
Hmm.
That's a real powerful piece of propaganda because they had started the propaganda before, after, or and during slavery, the enslavement period, where people, were they wanted to say that we were happy being on a plantation, and they gave certain stereotypes to certain characteristics and certain caricatures that weren't really true, right? So
Mhm.
one person that wrote, and she can be considered to be an abolitionist, was Harriet Beecher Stowe, who
Mhm.
wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, right?
Mhm.
So in the story, Uncle Tom, though, is not what he's been deemed to be. Uncle
Okay.
Tom was actually an intermediary who tried to make sure that most of the persons and the heavy punishment that was delivered on the plantation wasn't as severe as it could have been.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the phrase and words were termed and used to be something negative, all because of a little bit of not knowing. Because I would never say one of my idols was ignorant, he just didn't know.
Right.
But the term Uncle Tom came to be used as something else that it wasn't. But it should have been Sambo, who was the one who was the slave on the plantation, or the enslaved person on the plantation, who always wanted to deliver the most severe punishment. But once again, if you get the opportunity, purchase the book,
Right.
read it, because that'll help you see the position that she took as a writer about the severity and the horrors of slavery. And she wrote that book in 1852. Right. I see somebody says research and knowledge is very important. Thank you very much.
That's Miss J. Richburg.
Okay.
She's from Philly.
Okay.
And that let me get it right. Miss Beverly Barnes. She's from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining in. We appreciate you all.
And little bro Dylan Johnson. He's from Louisiana.
Okay. Well, if y'all have any questions, please kick them so we can kick it. That's what we're here for.
He's from here, but he stay in Texas.
Okay.
That's tapping in right here.
All right. Great.
Yeah. I mean, as they come in, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can acknowledge them. And please, if y'all have questions, please ask. So I like an interactive interview. I don't want to just be talking for hours. I can, but I don't want to do that. So, Birth of a Nation set up what really the characters that we see coming in the late 1910s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and you still see them even today in certain movies, right? You'll still see the Jezebel because they're going to continue to,
right?
They got to continue to perpetuate this idea. You'll still see the so-called, I hate this term, the mammy, which is horrible, right. But she's that mom. But the way that they make her now is like she's this sarcastic person that does all of this other stuff, and she's sometimes large and overweight or whatever. And so they continue this caricature from, again, so you got born what was that? Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Same stuff. The woman, what was her name? Her name escapes me. Hattie McDaniel.
Right.
Wins an Oscar.
Right.
But for what? Why?
For the role that
she played a role, yeah, but she was basically a person that was living on the plantation,
right,
serving she's right. So how in the world do you clap for that?
I mean, but them the roles. Just think about, look at Denzel Washington, just to bring it a little forward.
Yes, sir.
Look at Glory. I thought he should have got a role for Glory.
Right.
What about John Q?
Right.
What about the one when about the health, like they was doing about the medical, when his son, he didn't get no Oscars for that, but when
Malcolm
he played a drug, Malcolm, but when he played a drug dealer
and Training Day,
cop,
he played a crooked cop, right?
Training Day,
because again, propaganda says, I'm not going to give you anything for these iconic roles. Could you imagine him getting an Oscar for Malcolm? And what would have happened? Yeah. You'd have turned millions of people away from something else into something else that they desire to be. Right. But you can't give them that. You got to give them to the crooked cop, because then that makes people think.
That's a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you know why people can't go in some parts of the Grand Canyon?
Do I know the reason why some people can't go in certain parts of the Grand Canyon? Well, spiritually, I wouldn't want to be there because who knows what's down there.
Right.
Secondly, there's been said that there's some evidence of some things down there that I've never seen before. So somebody's got to show me evidence, because I'm also a science teacher.
Gotcha.
So if I don't see evidence of it, and I don't mean somebody who photoshopped it or whatever, you know, I've heard that there were certain iconic structures there.
Gotcha.
I've never seen them. Right. But hearsay, I don't do hearsay.
Gotcha.
It's got to be concrete. It's got to be something I can look at, see, and I don't want somebody's picture, because I don't care about that. Right. I want to be able to see it. So if you want to fly me to the Grand Canyon, I'll go take a look. And I'll prove it, whether it's right or wrong or not, based upon what I see as evidence, not based upon what people tell me. I don't care about that.
Gotcha.
Unless you have evidence that you can show me. But right now, I don't know. So I can't say that I can go ahead on and say that I understand what they're talking about, because I don't have evidence of that.
Yeah, but like you say, the propaganda, it's crazy that when we see those movies, even with, like, because a lot of the movies, they was playing handmaids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
it's like I get it the way Hollywood perpetrated, and like they say, black exploitation saved Hollywood.
Did it really though? Look at what Pam Grier had to go through in order to become a household name, right?
Right.
It wasn't like what was it, Coffee or one of the movies that she was in. This guy physically groped her.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
He like touched her everywhere.
Right.
Now I understood that she was still being tough and bad or whatever,
Right.
and she still did her job, but really?
Oh, Elliott McCants is the host name today, Miss J. She missed your name. Tell them.
Thank you, ma'am. You know, so I can't really say that certain roles that we played, right, really did anything to save Hollywood. It was something to combat against what the roles that we had before.
Right.
But was it really like, so you got Superfly.
Right.
Just a pimp.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you have movies that have Bill Cosby, and I don't care whether y'all mad at him or not, because you got to understand there's some real serious underlying issues, the reason why.
Right.
And you have Sidney Poitier who's playing Let's Do It Again. And all those movies were funny, but there was a reason why they were doing what they were doing.
Right.
Right. So they were trying to save a church or whatever it was. And Let's Do It Again. I haven't seen that movie.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Uptown Saturday. No,
it was an Uptown Saturday Night. It had to be.
Yeah, I love,
okay.
Man, I love. Listen,
right.
I love all the old movies. I go back and watch them. I love them.
So there was a plot, and even though Coffee had a plot too, you don't see nobody groping people like that. You know, they just really just groped her. So I'm not saying that she didn't have a role.
Right.
But was some of that stuff absolutely necessary?
I get what you're saying, but I get exactly what you're saying. Was it really good what they was putting out to the world about us?
Right.
As far as money wise, it bankrolled them.
Right.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like it because that's even with Halle Berry for playing Monster Ball. That's what she got her.
She got an Oscar for playing Monster Ball instead of Dorothy Dandridge, which is a far better role than Monsters Ball.
Right.
So you had to, no apology. My apologies if I offend you. And if you ever run across this, please don't take this the wrong way. But you can call me. I'm just playing. But you had to sleep with this other person who executed your husband.
Yeah, that was rough right there.
Okay. In order for you to win an Oscar. Yeah. So does that make us look like the Jezebel thing again? I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm just posing the question.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I mean, I didn't like it, but it just goes back to because I like a lot of movies that Spike Lee did. And I understood his message.
Yeah,
as far as with Jungle Fever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I understood what, and I like movies like that when they have a message in it, like Absolutely. You say, instead of just. I went and seen the Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood.
Right.
I believe I watch all of them.
Right.
But even the Billies and everything, but it's like, where's our balance at? Like the higher learning.
See, but you don't put higher learning out, right? You don't put movies like that out too much.
Right.
But you put movies that show the destruction of our homes, right? Our families. And those are okay. But even in Boys in the Hood, how much did they listen to Lawrence Fishburne's character? Not much at all. They still was out there doing whatever they were doing. Right. Meanwhile, he was a man who had all this wealth of knowledge, and nobody's really trying to deal with him.
Right. Right.
Now, does that happen in the community? Absolutely.
Right.
We're both examples.
Right. Right. We see it now.
Yeah.
Just like what we seeing. The killing going on now.
Yeah.
When that, like, if you looking at, we talking about gentrification now in here.
Right.
When at the same thing he was talking in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. He was talking about that then.
Yep.
Right. He was talking about it then. So, and then, okay, so let me go to some other propaganda. 1966, Oakland, California.
Yes, sir. Yes,
the inventions of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Right? They were policing the police.
Right.
Now, if we fast forward, This free breakfast program that the government has come
Right.
from them. The
Yes,
after
sir.
school programs. Make sure that I'm clear. If I'm wrong, go ahead on and you're absolutely right, Mr. Sims. That would not ever happen if it was a white woman. You're right. Um, the after school program where they were studying, right? Same type of thing here. Now you got 21st century or whatever they call it.
Right.
After school programs.
Right.
This was young men and young women who were reading in the morning to young people on their way to school,
Right.
making sure that they had something to eat on their way to school, pick them up after school and make sure that they had something to eat, both physically and mentally,
right,
after school. And that program got co-opted by the government.
Yeah, no,
breakfast program.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we have a question.
It says a lot of government programs were started with Black Panthers, the WIC
Absolutely.
program too.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Because they have mobile medical units, trucks or whatever,
Right.
or places in different homes that you can come and get medical treatment.
Yes,
right?
Right. But that's what I'm saying. And look how the government did them.
Absolutely.
Just imagine if they, because you seen it where you had them in, look how they did Fred Hampton.
Right.
Chicago. It was started in Oakland, but it was finna spread. And it's saying like,
well, you had sales here in Flint. You had sales here in Detroit. Oh, yeah, there was a small Panther party here. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if the young man, I interviewed him. I was trying to help him write a book. Right. I'm not sure if he's still around. I hope that he is. Right. And I hope if he hears, we get in touch with each other so he can write his book. Right. Yeah.
It needs to do that. Because, I mean, but it seems like they always trying to just, anything blacks do something successful is like, I rise, what is it, a downfall to them?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, because you're not talking about somebody who's talking about making sure that the playing field is level.
Right.
Because then as we see, you don't win.
Right.
And the only thing we want is an equal opportunity.
That's all.
That's all we ask for.
But
you want to make sure that there's millions of obstacles in the way so that we'll never have an equal opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like going back, like you said, the birth of, if I'm not mistaken, the birth of a nation, right?
Yes, sir.
What president sat up there and had it aired in the White House?
Right. Absolutely. What was it, Wilson?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Wilson? Yeah.
And it's like he had them, and straight up, that's why I'll be looking at when we had these debates. Don't get me wrong. Like the biggest thing right now with the Democratic Party with Kamala.
Pause real quick.
Yeah.
So then how come we can't make a call, right? Do the same thing and get that type of money generated in our communities? Make sense. We have people, we got 24 hours, she made $80 million. We have communities in the country, and right now it's over 200 million. We have communities in the country that you can clean up and fix right now with that type of money. To $80 million in less than 24 hours. People were coming out of their pocket.
Man, I mean, that's what it brings out that. Just look at what Donald Trump finna raise. But look at all of the communities that we got. Even the red states got some bad ones.
Yeah, that's true. But if we can make a phone call, and if y'all do that, I'll make sure we get it done. I don't know if y'all really follow me or not with that.
Oh, they're gonna get used to you.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're gonna get used to you.
Okay. But if we did the same thing, right? And say, okay, well, here's the city of Flint. We had all of this stuff that happened, right? Water crisis, gentrification, all of this stuff that's going on.
Right.
So I'm gonna put out a call right now. All that money y'all sending to somebody else that y'all don't even know, we need some of that money here. So that all of the stuff we talking about, schools and neighborhoods, and we can fix all of that stuff like that. Because we got the manpower here to still do it.
Well, if you like what Miss J. Richburg just said, she said, like, quoting Eric Mays, if they fix the problem, they won't have a job.
All day long. But the issue is that at what point in time do we not want to have a job? At what point in time do we not want to have a job? Because that's somebody else's job to continue to perpetuate this propagandized idea that somebody needs you.
Right.
When we could really truly be self-sufficient and not need anybody. Right?
Right. But how do we get I understand it, like from going back, like I say, I do try to study history. When you go back and see what we was facing back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s, even the 70s, it's saying like blacks was more together.
We had to be.
But now, because I hear them, they say the black on black crime.
That's propaganda. There's crime in all of it.
Yeah, because
there's crime everywhere. Yeah, Chinese people killing people. They do, but they don't advertise it because this is a group that you formerly owned. So therefore, I want to make your problems put out there in the spotlight more so than saying, well, you know, because I don't see, I'm a school teacher, been doing this for 28 years. I ain't seen no black kid yet run up in the school, shoot up a bunch of people. That don't mean that they're not attempts.
Right.
There probably are.
Right.
That we don't hear about. But I'm sure that if that happened with a black kid,
right,
that we would really hear about it.
Oh, you're gonna hear it.
You know.
Because you hear about drugs is in the urban with the black community.
Right.
But it's drugs in the white schools too.
Bro.
But
we're not even.
But you know, it's not, and it's like how I be trying to tell them the way this thing is set up, just using Flint as this water, it's racism all in there.
All day long.
But you know, sometimes we don't be want to hear that you know what I'm saying? Because you got a which is crazy. We got a Democratic governor, Democratic mayor, Democratic state rep, majority Democratic council.
Right.
And you mean to tell me the Attorney General Democratic and y'all can't get the water fixed? I mean, I hear that we got a cancer cluster study, but do people realize we are guinea pigs now? From what they cause, I guess you can come back and do a study now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if you somehow let some things happen.
Right.
To see what the effects are, just like the syphilis study in 1932 in Tuskegee, they let it go from 1932 to 1974. Told these men that they gave them syphilis.
Right.
They didn't have it.
Right.
Gave them shots, and they sat there and watched them go through all of that and do horrendous damages to their family.
Right.
All because you sat there and watched what you set in motion.
Yeah, I'll put this up for you. This one, Mark Curtis said, the elephant in the room. What is the guarantee that money coming to Flint is not simply stolen? We just watched 94 million disappear.
Hey. Well, it's got to be put in the right hands with the people that's going to do something about it and do something with it. That want to do something with it.
Right.
You put it in the hands of people that don't have a vested interest, then you're going to get it stolen.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like when you're dealing with, because this system, and I know I'm probably going to get in trouble, but really I don't care. This system, the way it's set up, is for you to steal, to rob. You can be corrupted. You can be saying you want to be a good person. Just say you want to get into, say, politics.
Right.
Eventually, you're going to be corrupted.
Yeah, because eventually what they say is politics breeds strange bedfellows.
Right.
That's an old saying. Right. But they mean it.
Right. This is like what people didn't understand when they put Barack in for president. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. But you have to understand, America had just attacked. We went over in Muslim countries.
Right.
You already had Bush Jr. He was a cowboy.
Right.
And America on a world stage was just looking like a bully. You needed a Barack Hussein Obama to come in when you already over in the Middle East. It was more of a symbolic, like, look, we already look bad, but now we elected this black man. We showing that we changing. this was with America. They were saying we have arrived. Remember when Barack got in, we were supposed to be, because they would never think. Remember, we only what 12% of the population?
Yes, sir.
12%. He got in, and it posted made with racial, it was over with.
No,
that was the illusion.
That was the absolute illusion, because what they did, if we remember part of his inauguration speech, and if there's anybody out there, you can pull it up and correct me if I'm wrong. Part of his inauguration speech came from the Atlanta Exposition speech of 1895 by Booker T. Washington. It said, "Pull yourself up by your bootstraps."
Right.
People missed it.
Right.
Then, if I recall, I could be wrong, the national coverage said, "What did people think that we had arrived? Are you absolutely serious?"
Right.
So they asked old guard civil rights persons,
right,
are we fine now? No. John Wayne did an interview in 1974 in Playboy that said he would turn over in his grave if he ever found out or knew or thought that a black man or woman would be elected president. Meanwhile, Bobby Kennedy in 1966 said he knew it was coming. He didn't know when, but he hoped to live to see it, which he didn't, because he was assassinated in 1968.
Right.
So this whole notion that thing was going to be equal, because now people felt that, oh, no, he's going to really do something for black people, and we can't have that. Because you've never seen a president get disrespected the way he did. How are you going to go out to see the governor of Arizona, and she put her finger in your face? Are you serious?
You forgot when John Boehner said he was a liar at his State of the Union.
That's right. And nothing was done. I don't even think he was removed. He might have been removed, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking what Chris Caleb said, that the Supreme Court elected George Bush. They did. Really, they did, because they
because he was Al Gore. He was losing to Al Gore,
yeah.
And all of a sudden he gets elected, and Al Gore loses Florida,
right?
But which he was winning,
right? But I think he got too,
because he was an environmental president,
right?
You know, he was a real environmentalist,
right? So
people weren't really trying to have that type of president who seemed to be soft, but he really wasn't. He was about saving. We wouldn't be dealing with a lot of stuff now,
right,
had he been elected president, because
right.
his policies about the environment was really
right
on point and really focused about saving the environment.
But their mind was focused on, they wanted war. You remember
that's why you listen. War, America has gotten into every war. World War II happens after stock market crash in 1929. Mm-hmm. And the drought and the Dust Bowl in 1933.
Right.
We got to do something. You got people on the welfare system. They call it a New Deal or whatever they used to call it. You got people in the welfare system, right? And we got these other people that we ain't trying to have on the welfare system that's using the welfare system. So we got to do something about that. But if we do, we engage in war. What happens? Control some population, make some money.
We send the poor.
Yeah, we send the poor, because y'all ain't got nothing else to. Yeah. What you gonna do? Stay here and die? No, you might as well go fight.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of dots that, because people don't study, they're not connected, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gaps in, and I like to do research. I don't like just to sit around here and just come off the top of my head.
Right.
Like I said, there may be some things I'm missing. If I'm missing it, tell me, so I can correct it.
Right. I'm just getting it. I'm just, because I'm going by what Chris Caleb just said. I'm reading some of the questions. He said, if Senator Kennedy had not died, Obama would have helped the black people more. I can kind of agree with that, because remember, the Kennedy, he took his what's the name, and got behind Barack and didn't go with Hillary.
Which Ted one? Kennedy. You talking about Ted?
Yeah.
Ted didn't have a choice but to go that way because of things that happened with him and Chappaquiddick. Don't forget.
But remember the first time when the Clintons, he was behind
Yeah, right.
Bill.
Bill.
When it came time to come back around, remember, Bill did some stuff because remember, even I think Gore went with Obama.
He didn't have a choice.
Remember, he didn't, when Clinton was president, Clinton didn't back Gore doing the, what him and Bush was going through. He kind of fell back.
Yeah, because look at the crime bill that he put in place in 1994.
Yeah.
So, now you got people selling drugs everywhere, but you couldn't walk around with an eighth of anything, and you got maximum sentence for it. That's Bill Clinton.
Right. Oh, yeah. Hillary too.
What was the other?
Joe Biden.
Yeah. What was the other? Like probable cause.
Yeah.
If I think that you're doing something,
right,
I can stop you and arrest you.
Yeah.
That's Bill Clinton.
Yeah, but a lot of people, because he played that saxophone.
Yeah, on our Arsenio Hall
show. Yeah. And Bill Cosby, but that's how we do. But remember, Malcolm X said this. He we let our entertainers be sitting up here like these our new thought leaders. What we have, and that's what I was saying on a bump like earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what the Democratic convention finna be like. I just seen the Republican with them bringing Amber Rose and Hulk Hogan. I get it, but it was like
frown about that.
I don't. It was just because it was like I couldn't believe it. It's like okay, we know Hulk Hogan racist. Don't get me wrong. I used to be a wrestler as a kid.
Right.
Early 80s. Believe me, I was watching it. I was a Hulk Hogan fan.
Right.
But it's like when you see all this stuff coming out, but even with Donald Trump, remember, a lot of people was rolling with Donald Trump.
Right.
Till he became the Republican president. That's when Donald Trump became. He was always a bad guy.
He was all. Okay, so remember when he built Trump Towers back in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. He was buying up a bunch of property, telling people that he would move you somewhere else. This on my promise, I'm gonna move you somewhere else. Bought up these properties and let them people just figure out what they had to do, figure out from there.
Right.
With no fin. So why would you turn around knowing that's his history and even put him in a position? Because one thing he said in 85, and it was repeated of course on the cartoon, that he has no allegiance to any party.
Right.
That's what he said. He said if he ever ran for president, he doesn't have an allegiance to a party. It's about whatever we need to do to get the government together. The person that was missed, this is going to date me. I'm sorry, y'all. H. Ross Perot. So I'm a billionaire. I don't need no money.
Right.
I don't need the government's money. We're going to fix the government and run it like a business.
But you know what hurt him? When he said, you people.
Remember
he said, but people forget, he was beefing with the Bushes.
He was beefing with Bush. He was beefing with everybody. That's the reason why he ran independent.
Yeah, no, because he was a Republican.
Right.
But he fell out when you go back and do the what's the name? The road. I think at an event in Texas, I think they scrapped because I think they checked Ross Perot. He was nervous of the Bushes. But people keep forgetting Daddy was CIA director. Talk about senior.
Yeah, Bush.
Senior. Yeah. But he was a vice president for Reagan.
Right.
See, people keep forgetting what did Reagan hold his press conference when he was announcing he was finna run for president?
Probably knowing him on the cowboy range.
No, down in Mississippi? Was it? Yeah, I think it was down there. Yeah, it was down there.
Somebody help us out.
People keep forgetting. What's up, Sis Audrey? But see,
we got you, baby girl.
People keep forgetting that all these presidents, they want to act like, you know what I'm saying? Because Obama can't, like, we ain't had no. It's a system he got to run.
That was the thing that I think everybody was ignorant of, is there's a system in place that no matter who sits at the seat, you're going to follow the script.
Right. That's why I'm tripping that they mad at Biden because they saying he had dementia. Did they forget Reagan had it? But I guess,
listen, hold on now.
Yeah.
Guess what else we found out about? Reagan had on his staff a person who does astrology.
See what I'm saying?
So when they talked about him looking in the stars or whatever, and you see him looking up or whatever at some of the press conferences he had, he said he had an astrologer that was doing charts and stuff on his.
But now you may be right on that, Chris Caleb, because
I think you're right too.
The Bushes was heated with Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
But did you see how close he was with the Clintons? I mean,
yeah,
with
absolutely.
the Bushes.
Yeah.
That's what people don't be understanding. Like,
but this is not a two-party system.
Right.
What is it? There's an old saying that says a bird has a right wing and a left wing.
Right.
But it's all the same bird.
Right. And they don't, and like, people don't get it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just like what, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna vote Democrat. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm voting for Kamala. But what really is she gonna be able to do?
Nothing. She's gonna sit there and follow the script like everybody else did.
Right. Because if you go against it, they got demonstrations.
Yeah.
They didn't knock presidents down. Let's just quit.
Well, I mean, look at Kennedy. You know, Kennedy was because he was in negotiations with the civil rights leadership.
Yeah.
And he had this issue over here that he was dealing with Russia and Cuba.
Right.
The big thing to me was the fact that you were having these negotiations with civil rights leadership.
Right.
And you were still telling them, wait your time.
Right.
But other people are saying, let's hurry up. So when he got assassinated, then Lyndon Johnson signs the two bills that he had sitting on the desk.
Right.
Voters' Rights Act, 1964, I think, and Civil Rights Act of 1965. That he walked away.
Right.
At that point, he said, we've effectively given the South to the Southern Dixie Democrats.
Right. And people keep forgetting that when I say, Miss Allen, to me, it wouldn't hurt me. I'm going to vote for her. I want to see it, but I know what America is made of. And I know she will rear her ugly head because, like I say, we 12%.
No, the Vietnam War had not started yet. The Vietnam War didn't start until the late 60s.
But see, Kennedy, if you go back and watch some of his speeches on YouTube, you can see he was saying he was battling with a shadow government.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he gave that speech, even when you go look at
that sealed the deal.
Yeah, when you go look at it, that was the speech that got him handled.
Yeah.
If you go look at Abraham Lincoln, people keep thinking what Abraham Lincoln did, he had to save the Union. When he allowed blacks to come in the Union, he had to save it. What he did, it ain't like he wanted blacks to put him in the military.
Right.
They was about to lose the Union.
So his position, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
His position was we're still going to maintain the superior position.
Right.
We're still going to maintain the superior position.
Right.
But so the Emancipation Proclamation was January 1st, 1863.
Right.
We're going to put it on the shelf.
Right. And they keep forgetting that. They forgetting that if you go look at some of his writings, what he said, who he was beefing with.
There we go. Somebody talk about Project 2025.
You know, I'm finna get right to it. You know who he was beefing with? The bankers. Go look at who he was beefing with. You got to remember, the South was dealing with. The South had more money than the North at this time. They had free labor.
Yeah.
Well, you got plantations.
No, I disagree with that. There's a book called Complicity that talks about how the North and the South were working together. So they would take the cotton, send it up north to textile factories,
right,
and ship it back for the South to buy clothes. They would take molasses for rum and distilleries along the Massachusetts and the Hudson River, right? Make the rum and ship it back to the South to sell.
Remember, the South was putting. They started printing their own money.
They did start printing when they was
the Confederacy. They was pulling away from the North, from the Union.
No,
remember when the states, because they was able to go deal with these. They had plantation owners that was living like they're kings and queens.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, they was having from overseas that was coming. They didn't really need. And they
were selling sugar and rum and molasses.
Yeah, they had the free labor.
Cloth to England.
Yeah, because all you seen was the Great Migration when you seen. When they did the industrial revolution.
Right.
What they do, they already had the labor. It was down south.
Right. But they had labor up north too.
Yeah. But they doubled it when they had, you see, in the migration of more blacks started coming up north.
Right. That's true. That's true.
You know.
So let's slide back to a couple more points.
Go ahead.
But and we'll do the best that we can And thank you for your service, Mr. Caleb. We appreciate that.
For sure.
So I forgot, but what power and what good? Okay. All right, that's a good question. Okay, so let's take a little bit more look at this propaganda thing, because everything that we're talking about is propaganda. So you ever get a chance to come to Michigan, over at Ferris State in Big Rapids, there's a Jim Crow museum of artifacts, right? So part of what happened too was you create these artifacts, cards, statues, cookie jars, anything to show that these caricatures that come from this time period. The music that we used to listen to that changed some things, even if it was coming from the 60s. James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Those types of music, that type of music was coming up. For us, what immersed me in it was listening to Public Enemy and X-Clan and KRS-One and Poor Righteous Teachers, right? We'll talk about going back and touching your roots again. But we couldn't really have that because you changing the mindset of people again. So we got to go back and have this other music that they come up with that goes back and destroys the cultural idea again, right? So all of the stuff that we're talking about is all part of a plan that we're not a major players in. That's part of the issue. That what's the most important thing, should be the most important thing for us is okay, Mr. Lewis, is our culture, whatever we should define that as. And I'm not really including hip hop. Some people do, but I'm talking about real culture from where we come from. But hey, if that works for you, that works for you. They keep hollering about 2025.
I just looked at this thing. It says Trump's plan will eliminate federal transit funding, increasing costs, and undermining the economy.
Well, but he already said or insinuated that part of what he wanted to do is become a monarch for the rest of. So then, if people make a decision, right? If people make a decision that they're going to vote and put him in office, then you understand what it is that you're dealing with. Because if this is part of his agenda, and he says it's part of his agenda from what we've been picking up on the news, then you're going to suffer too.
Like far as giving police immunity.
Right.
But to me, it's like, if you notice, this what they was putting in regardless. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
They was going to put it in regardless.
Whether it be him, whether it be her, whether it be anybody. So at the same time, at the end of the day, at what point in time do we say, this is my brother. Hey man, what you need? This is my daughter. Something happened to me. Watch out for my daughter. Right. Where your kids at? They need to know where I am, and I need to know where they are.
Right.
Okay. Oh yeah, and you ain't got but a half a loaf of bread. Come through, man. I got potatoes. We're not willing to do that anymore because we've been told through propaganda that it's okay to be separate instead of together.
Right. No, you're right on that, because it's like, I get it. Like a lot of people, I mean, and plus it was by the Heritage Foundation.
There's many different
that was putting in it. It's like they putting this in, but to me, it's like this, which way America was gonna go anyway.
America, this is a socialist state. It's not a democracy.
Yeah, because if it was, the popular vote would win. You be president every time. That's what I'm like. Like until we get out of that illusion, like this Project 25, like you said, if they don't push it through Trump, America's going toward that Project
absolutely,
2025.
because you're trying to eliminate a certain group of people because that's what you're trying to do. That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's where they come in with the boogeyman that the Democrats. So this finna go. Y'all know that's going anyway.
Anyway,
show me when they get in, have they repealed any of the laws when the Democrats get in, and when the Republicans get, they ain't repealed that tax law?
No,
because a lot of them got money.
And look, why wouldn't, when you arrested a bunch of people on probable cause, why they still locked up?
Yeah.
Why are they still locked up? Because you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Private prisons.
Yeah.
You know, you privatize the prison industrial complex.
I'm finna show you some more gangster than that.
Uh-oh.
We seen it local. That's just like that lady who because Kamala, they said she didn't call the mother.
I just seen it.
To the person that got killed.
Oh.
Give me a second, I'm about to pull it
Yeah,
up.
you called her, but like, what can you do?
Wait a minute. Wait. Which one? I'm missing.
Kamala Harris,
right.
When the police came in.
Sonya
Yeah,
but here now, I'm under my understanding that happened weeks ago. That didn't happen just recently.
That's what I'm saying.
See, but so that shows you. But they already knew that this dude had committed atrocities as a police officer in other police departments. Why would you hire him?
But that's the thing. That's the thing. What I was trying to. Yeah, that's the thing. What I was trying to get them to understand that, like, what's she gonna do? She gonna get in there,
right?
Like, what can you do? Because you know they finna look at that. If she come down like she finna come down, or she gonna say something. Watch how many whites finna be turned off on Kamala.
Yeah,
she gonna have to take the neutral stance.
Yeah. Well, Obama had to take a neutral stance too, because he told people, "I'm the president of the whole United States, not just the black part of the United States."
Yeah. I'm Miss Beverly Barnes. Now I get what you're saying. I'm not saying don't vote. I'm gonna vote for it, but I'm just saying that this Project 2025, if it just say Kamala get in, let's just say she get in,
right?
And I pray she get in. You know they're gonna get a Republican president in
eventually,
and they're gonna push their project. If it's 2029 or 2030, my thing is, what are the things that the Democrats gonna put in place to stop?
Nothing. They are two wings of the same bird. Two wings of the same bird. Two wings of the same bird. But what we better do, hey man, you got a loaf of bread. I ain't got no money, but I got potatoes. Hey, what's your address? All right, I'll be through. You going? Okay, I'm gonna slide through. Your kids straight? Okay. Y'all need anything? Okay, cool. I got you. We better be prepared. You're absolutely correct.
Okay. So this says, Vice President Kamala Harris took time to reach out to the family of Sonia Massey, the 36-year-old Black woman who was fatally shot by a sheriff's deputy in her Illinois home. According to Massey's father, James Wilburn, who spoke to Harris, he said, "It's made me feel a lot better today. She gave us her heartfelt condolences, and she let us know that she is with us 100%. That senselessness killing must stop." Shadia Massey, a cousin of Sonia's, said Harris's call moved her deeply. "That call right there meant the world to my family right now," she said. "I mean, it definitely broke every last one of us down. Out of all the phone calls and the thousands and thousands and thousands of messages and phone calls and inboxes.
What the heck? This is kind of high school senior.
This one here really meant the world to our family. It is not known if Trump reached out to the Massey family. Our thoughts continue to go out to Sonia's entire family."
Hey, Mr. Caleb, I'm gonna need to be able to get that website you're talking about over there. So yeah.
Now I seen that too. I seen different people do stuff on that. Yeah, it's crazy. And I seen controlled demolition from a person that.
Hey, I don't.
No, I'm just saying. I just seen where people had back and forth. It just make you.
Well, at the end of the day, over 8,000 people died. Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter who you blame.
Yeah.
Whether it be this group of people had something to do with letting it happen, or this group of people did it, or that group of people did it, or whatever. It happened.
Like somebody, but the thing what you got to look at, what comes afterward. That's how we got the Patriot Law. They do a lot.
Oh, the Patriot Law?
Patriot Act. I'm saying when you look at certain things, because I want to see now
1,100 pages.
Yeah.
Of if you blink the wrong way.
Right. That's like with Trump, that his incident. I want to see how they what's finna come out of this. So I want to see how the. I just want to see how this gonna play out.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Because I want to see because they kind.
Said I just found that too.
Yeah. See, I want to see what laws they finna because something coming out of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then why would you if this person actually did it, would you? Well, no different than Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
So so you got to get rid of somebody that might say something.
It's certain things because it's laws that's coming. That's all. That's the only thing I'll be looking at. Like,
what's coming? What's next?
What's next? Because I can't think of that the saying of it, but it's called order out of chaos. They create the chaos,
right? And then but who's the order for? Right? Who's the order for?
That's the thing.
Yeah. So if you create an order for yourself. Yeah, you're really not worried about nobody else. Yeah, I mean, I just
because we keep losing more rights. People keep thinking we got this.
Oh yeah, this is not a democratic society.
Yes, sir.
I've got a couple things I just like to share. I'm not sure how much more time we got.
10 minutes.
We got 9 minutes. Okay. For those of you who like to read, I'm a historian. This is one of the most important books. It's called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual by Harold Cruz. Right? He's got a lot of historical documentation. I don't know if you can really see it that well. A lot of historical documentation in this about leadership and the effects. And actually, here's the whole title. It's called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual, a historical analysis of the failure of Black leadership. And he talks about everybody in here. This is one of my professors from years ago. So if you like to read and you want to see some things, then I suggest you get that. Here's another one of my teachers by Dr. Chancellor Williams called Destruction of Black Civilization. This is a must-have book that you should have in your, okay, there you go. I don't know if they can see it, but it's called The Destruction of Black, The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. Yeah, you'll get it. Another one by one of my professors. He passed away in 1994, called The Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson. So you get that, that'd be nice. Put it in your library and read it. I've heard this is the man that had a discussion with Malcolm. I'm gonna hold it up in a second. And Malcolm didn't attack him because he was very intellectual. Bayard Rustin, regardless of what his life was a super highly intellectual man. He had a lot to do with building the March on Washington in 1963. And there's a book on him called Down the Line, which talks about his life as civil rights activist. And this is a collection of his own essays. So this is somebody that I think we kind of put off to the side because of his life, right, but not really look at his. And James Baldwin is another one. Yeah. Anything by James Baldwin, get it. Yeah. This man, we need to study him a little bit more, regardless of what his life was, because his political ideology was really on point. And for those that don't think that we have culture in the Americas, this is a newer version of the book. There's a book by, I want to say Dr. Ben Yochanan, who wrote. Yeah. You got to get his stuff. Yeah,
I'll be watching some of
Yeah. So he's got lectures on YouTube. Dr. Amos Wilson's got a lecture on YouTube. This is called The African Presence in the Americas. So this talks about the Olmecs, the American presence of even certain things that we do in America that are African, right? So like even funerals where people drive you around forever before they finish the service, that's African. Because what they will do is that when a person would pass in a village, they will walk that person around the village like one last time before they buried them. This is another one of my favorite authors. His name is David Walker. He wrote a book called David Walker's Appeal. No, you can, yeah, you can call me to get the books. I'll make sure you get a list. Absolutely. I like to read about the true history in business. Good. We're proud. Keep it up. This is David Walker's Appeal. This is a man who took bits and pieces of the Bible and bits and pieces of the Constitution and showed people in America where they were wrong at. This actually is David Walker's Appeal to the colored citizens of the world, but in particularly and very expressly to those of the United States of America. That's a heck of a title. There's another one of my teachers. His name is Dr. Kaba. I know somebody who's met him. I haven't, but he talks about the importance of how we see certain things in Africa and how the origins of those, what we consider to be origin stories, came from certain parts of Africa. We'll do what we can to write the books down, I promise. And this is a book on poetry, the poetry of Black America in the 20th century. So this is a book of poetry. And so a lot of this poetry is very, very powerful. I'm not a real poetry reader, but some people that are poets, I suggest you try and find it and get it. So somebody says, so in your opinion, what are we expecting in the next 5 years? Well, those have to be discussed in private, and I'm not going to put them in public. If you want to get in touch with me, we'll figure out a way to do that. But I know that we better be more family than we are.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I know we better be more family than we are. And we start yesterday.
Yeah, we in trouble.
Yeah,
if we don't, because we don't come to that.
Yeah, we need to start yesterday.
I do believe we're gonna be forced to have to.
Yeah, I mean, part of everything that's happening, let alone what's happening in our own community, outside of our community, that people like this girl, tell her to take a pot of water off the stove, and then you kill her. Really? But you told her to take the pot of water off so it wouldn't burn. But she called you for help. She called you for help. You come there. You tell her, hey, look, you got something on the stove. We'll look around. She got the pot in her hand. She's still afraid, and she should have been more afraid of you.
We're in trouble. That's all I can tell you, because we still having this, and it's 2024.
And this has been going on since way before the 60s.
Yeah, since we got
50s, 40s.
We landed on this line.
Right.
On the slave patrol.
Yeah, that's exactly. As a police department. That's right. Yeah, so that's how I started. Yeah.
So all we are to them is that.
It's yeah, well, you know, even what the Honorable Marcus Garvey said. Yeah. If we don't do what he's supposed to do for self, we're gonna have problems, and we're having problems, and we want to be ignorant of them.
Right.
So I'm not here to argue with people about whatever. You know what you know. I'm glad you know what you know. But what you better do is find people that you have like-mindedness with, and you better find a way to affiliate with them so that you'll be able to protect yourself.
Right. All right. You can do your closing statement, anything you got to say.
Oh, well, thank you, Sister Audrey Muhammad, for allowing me to sit in. Thank you to my daughter for being an excellent, I don't know, call you a secretary, because you wasn't secretary. You was being informative.
For giving a little bit of information here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to my brother for allowing us to share this afternoon with you and your video family.
For sure.
Hopefully we can still continue to build on this and continue to do some other things.
I know they're gonna be seeing more of you.
They're gonna be seeing more.
They're gonna be seeing more.
That'll be great. Yeah. And we all have things to learn and things to do. So, but we can't waste time anymore. We have to stop. We're already behind. We're not even on the playing field anymore. As far as some stuff goes, as an educator, make sure your children or other children know, not just stuff, but you got to be involved in their educational life.
Right.
Be involved in their. I don't care. I'm big enough to. I don't care nothing about that. Go and find out what's going on. Talk to the people at the school. Make sure that they stay on point because they have an agenda too. And we need to have one as well for our children.
Right.
We don't have an agenda for our children.
Yeah, no, we do.
They'll have one for you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have one for you.
We already see what theirs is.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
All right. Well, thank you, family.
I appreciate you.
Next Sunday.
Yes, sir.
So he'll be back next Sunday, and we on the works on some family.
Right. And I'll make sure we have the book list so that y'all have that. All right. And probably with a few more. All right.
Peace.
Peace.